Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
It's JD, but I gotta ask you right off the bat, is this all of a sudden like ASMR Michelle on We Watch Shudder? Are you like trying to get into like a voiceover career or something? That was very affected, like you have maybe never done before. Holy cow.
No, this is now the ASMR podcast where I will be opening bags of chips and sorting little blocks and rubbing some soap. ASMR. Welcome to another
and
episode.
Talking in a soft and gentle voice like this.
Yes. I was just watching some snippets of a classic documentary because I was collecting squelches, so I think I just had to go into channel.
Is this because we were talking about mukbangs yesterday, and then it's just like weird internet thing is in your head, and you decided you wanted to be an ASMR person?
You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Mukbang ASMR. That is my future.
I'm pretty sure ASMR is a crucial element of the mukbang aesthetic.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it even more. I'm gonna be so chompy. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Chompy. Well, anyway, welcome to We Watch Shudder. It's not an ASMR podcast. I'm sorry. My voice is very annoying instead.
It could be.
We sometimes watch Shudder, and we did that today. We did watch Shudder. They put out a movie. It's a movie I had already seen, but JD got to see it for the first time, and it is called Stopmotion.
Stopmotion, all one word, Stopmotion, directed by a gentleman named Robert Morgan, and co-written by Morgan and Robin King. This is one that I had heard about from several people who got to see it. I had a couple of friends who saw it theatrically, and then, of course, Michelle saw it on VOD just recently. Or did you steal this one, Michelle?
I was able to rent this one. I think it's on Prime or something. Yeah.
Okay. And I finally got to see it. I actually, I was going to rent it myself, but I saw that it was coming up on the Shudder schedule, and I tantrically delayed myself an extra month because I wanted to be ready to go for this episode. And, man, this could be interesting because I was real prepared for this episode, and now I don't know that I'm prepared at all, and we're going to find out.
Well, I'm never prepared, so that's okay.
All right, fair enough.
I'm only prepared for Michelle in review. I wrote one note for this movie.
Michelle, so. you wrote one note for this movie? That's one more note than I wrote.
Yeah,
We're not a
note-taking
kind of podcast.
I just forgot to take notes. I looked at my page afterwards. And I went, oh, right, I was going to do that. So I
forgot in a good way or in a bad way? Well, I guess we'll talk about it in a minute.
Well, we'll find out.
Michelle, before we get
IMDb
too deep into this, deep into this, we do need to address the fact that you are even farther away than you usually are.
I am.
Where are you right now? Do you mind telling folks where you are?
I don't mind. Please don't.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them the name of the hotel and the room number, but give them the basics.
Yeah, no, I am in Medora, North Dakota, the part of North Dakota where we actually have changes in elevation and some mountains and some
a little bit of the Badlands out there.
Yeah. Earlier today when we were showing up and my husband was going, "There's the Badlands," I was like, "Well, why do people even?"
Your husband, who's definitely not there.
Yeah, my husband who's not in the room. He's Schrodinger's John, where if I don't know if he's here unless I look directly at him, which fair. I'm not going to do because he was very nervous about me putting on.
Really, when you think about it, that applies to just about anything. Is you can never be 100% certain it's still there if you're not actually looking at it. That Schrodinger fellow was onto something.
He was. Speaking of looking at things, so he pointed out there's the Badlands, and then I went, well, why do people care so much if they're just called the Badlands? And he went, oh, well, they're called the Badlands because you can't grow anything there. And I was like, I didn't know that. Thank you, but you did miss out on me being very funny and very clever. And he
Michelle,
went, oh. So.
I used to live in that portion of the state in a small town called Mott, North Dakota, that is not terribly far from the Badlands region. And we used to go out because we didn't have a lot of money as kids, so you got to find things that you can do that have minimal expense. And so a lot of times we would literally just get in the car and go out to the Badlands and just drive. It's gorgeous. Like if you're a
Yeah.
scenery kind of person, you can spend hours there. My favorite thing is if you're there in the right part of the year, which if I remember correctly is most of the year. If you're real keen-eyed, you will find bighorns out there just like wandering. Like you'll be able to see wildlife. Just there's still, I believe, some wild horses out there.
There
You
are.
can,
There are. We're
yeah,
going
you
to
can
try to
still.
find them.
It's gorgeous. It's been a while since I've been out there, but I'm very jealous that
Yeah.
you are out there right now. I would love to get back out to that portion of the state.
Yeah, this is only my second time being in Medora. Last time we did take a drive through the Teddy Roosevelt Park. For those who don't know Medora, it's where Theodore Roosevelt was born, grew up, something.
No, no, it's just the part of North
He just
Dakota where
liked
he
it.
made his home after, like after I believe it was between his military service and his presidency. He came out to this part of the country just to live and build a homestead
Gotcha.
and be a manly man's man. And
Yeah, it's very, very Roosevelt
he
here.
always credited his time in North Dakota as being very formative to who he was as a person.
I
Because
gotcha.
of just it's sort of a big part of his history. That's where
Gotcha.
the whole Rough Rider thing comes from out
Yep.
here, and yeah, all of that.
Yep.
But
Uh,
yeah,
my
it's
hotel, last time I did not stay in this hotel, but it's probably, I'll just dox myself. It's one of the more popular ones. There's not many. There's 4 hotels total. You have a good chance of finding me if you really want to. But this hotel has a little Theodore Roosevelt teddy bear that greets you right when you walk in, because the
aw.
teddy bear was named that because of Theodore Roosevelt. And I think that's a very cute touch. Last time I was here in Medora was my first time, and we did go through the park. And as we came around a corner, there was a bison just a few feet away from the car. And I rolled down my window, didn't want to spook him, but he was so close I could hear him breathing. And I was just like, oh, look at this majestic baby. And my husband let me stay there for a little bit. And then he's like, okay, we're going to keep driving now. I was like, but he's right there. He's like, yeah. And if he gets mad, he'll flip our
Yeah,
car over.
yeah. I
And I
was
was like,
about to
yeah, but
ask
like
you,
he's beautiful.
did you at least have the good sense to stay in the car?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't want to disturb him.
I
Yeah, I
gotta,
was just he we came around the corner and he was right there. So I just
yeah,
watched him for a bit. He
I
was
gotta tell
content.
you, Michelle. When I lived out in Mott, North Dakota, for a good, we were there for about 2 years, and for a good portion of that 2 years, we rented a house on a ranch. A guy raised cattle, and then he also raised bison.
Oh,
And so there was a
cool.
herd of bison right there, not 100 yards from my house, that I could go out and let me tell you, uh, you see them on TV and you understand that they're big. You
Yep.
don't really understand how big that animal is until you're 3 feet away from one, and the only thing between you and him is a fence that he could probably tear down real easy if he felt like it.
Yeah.
They are
Bison
very.
are
I mean,
gigantic.
they're cattle
They're
type animals,
sturdy.
right? They're very docile. They don't wanna
Mhm.
but they're just so fucking massive. They're majestic is the only word for it. They're just incredible.
It's like moose. People don't know how
And
big
then
moose are
yeah,
until
and
you
then
see
you
them.
see
They're
these
big.
videos of dumbasses getting out of their car to go up
Oh
and
yeah.
try to pet the buffalo or take a selfie right up next to it.
Yeah.
Everyone like I look, I'm not gonna go so far as to say I'm happy that you got mauled and that you deserve to get mauled, but you kind of deserve to get mauled.
I do hope that if I run into a bison on this trip, that he is able to telepathically communicate with me that he would like me to come up and pet him, and that I have his permission. Because then I will
Oh,
absolutely do it. Everybody else will
maybe
think like she's just crazy and went and pet a bison. I'll be like, the bison was fucking psychic and he told me to. Don't victim
maybe
blame.
maybe the psychic bison is actually tricking you into come out there because he just wants to murder you with his bison horns.
I hope that would be a great way to go.
Cool.
That would be such a good way. Be like, Michelle got murdered by a bison. How did that even happen?
Well, she probably
But I want
approached
people
it.
to no, I want people to think it happened in my house, that the bison tracked me down
Oh, that would be
and
wild.
found me. Yeah. Well,
Well, thank you
anyway,
for
wild
joining
stop
us for this
motion.
episode of Michelle Goes to Medora. This has been a great
Yeah,
podcast. We hope you enjoy the rest of your time. That joke is never going to get
yeah.
old to me.
It's never.
Oh, well,
I'm
we're
traveling
done,
a
and we
lot
haven't.
this year, so Medora this time, and next trip will be Minneapolis again. So in
All
about a month,
right.
I'll be recording in another hotel room. Good times.
Ooh. All
I
right, so
know.
I guess
I know.
we put it off long enough. Michelle, we're talking
Yeah,
about stop motion. Do you? Can I
we are.
do the plot summary this time?
Yes, but first we should do the IMDb description and our
That's what I
spoiler-free
no.
thoughts.
That's what I guess. That's what I meant. Is
Oh, okay.
the this part the descriptive script.
Oh, yes, you can do the descriptive script.
So
Absolutely.
we chose to do the one from IMDb because, as often happens, the one on Shudder is a novel, and this is basically the first sentence of the one from Shudder. So here it is. Stop. That's all one word, by the way. Stop motion. A stop motion animator struggles to control her demons after the loss of her overbearing mother. Stop motion. 2023. A Shudder
D-
original.
Does it frustrate you that the title of this movie is stop motion, all one word, but then the second word of the description is stop motion with a hyphen?
You know me so well. It drives
It bothers
me
me.
absolutely nuts.
Come on,
But it's
consistency, you
fine.
guys.
It's
I'm gonna keep
fine.
complaining about every movie summary on every platform until they do it exactly as I want them to.
Well, yeah, I
So,
mean, they should know that we're the most important ones there are in the world. Anyway,
of course, of course.
Michelle,
Yeah.
would you, having seen the film twice now, would you like to start
hmm
out telling us your spoiler-free thoughts on stop motion?
Yeah, yeah. So stop motion. Um, generally speaking, I like it. I think it's really creepy. Stop motion always freaks me out. And this utilizes a lot of stop motion. That's not a spoiler. It's in the title. And it does it in a very effective way that I found very creepy. There were parts that I felt were, we'll just go with annoying. Where I was like, "Oh, I could do without this bit of this movie," but I did enjoy, all the other stuff so much that it did let me just kind of forgive the stuff that I did not enjoy about it. The lead girl who plays Ella Blake, I think it
Ella
was,
Blake, yes.
uh, Ella Blake. The lead girl who plays her is fantastic. It's really good animation that will just let you forget everything else, and it's very fucking creepy. And watching it the second time, I caught a lot of foreshadowing that I did not the first time. So second watch was actually even better. I'm going with a 4.5. I really enjoyed this one.
4.5 skulls for Michelle
Mm-hmm.
on stop motion. That's a pretty good score.
It is. It is. It's pretty good. It's a good
Mm-hmm.
movie. How do you feel about it? I have no
How do
idea,
I?
but I'm scared.
No, this is where this gets real interesting for me, Michelle, because you said something that I think is going to be really crucial there, which is on second viewing, you understood a lot more, you caught a lot more. I have to be completely, maybe more so than any of these that we've done. I think this is the first time because most of the time I've literally finished the film like 5 minutes before we sit down to record. Uh, this I don't know what I feel about this movie. There are parts of it that just on the surface obviously are very good. I feel like it's a good movie. My problem is I'm not at all certain I understood enough of it to fairly judge it. It's like I can tell you that like there's a lot of stuff about it that I really enjoyed. As you said, the animation is fantastic. The way they integrate the animation with the live action is very well done. It's a very well made film. It's a very well performed film. It does have some interesting things, obviously, that like I understood what was happening. I'm just not sure I caught all the themes and the ideas
Yeah.
that are happening here. And so, like, I'm not. I promise this isn't a cop out, but I don't feel like I can fairly give this movie a score until I get to see it again. So here's
I'm
what I'm
on
gonna
board
do
with
is
that. Yeah.
I'm gonna reserve my ranking for right now, and I will
Hmm.
guarantee I will see this again before we record next week's episode, and I'll report back right up top how I ended up feeling about it, because I immediately had that thought that you just expressed, which was, I bet when I watch this again, this is going to make a lot more sense, and I'm going to
Hmm.
understand it. I had a very raw, positive reaction to it, but there's clearly a lot going on here, and I need to know more.
Well, then I am wondering if we even want to do a spoiler section right now or do a separate episode later, because now I'm wondering, do I even tell you the things that you definitely did not see the
Well,
first
that's
time?
it.
Because there is so much I did not see
Well,
the first
that's
time.
interesting, Michelle. Maybe we
Hmm.
this might have been something we wanted to discuss before putting the episode together.
This is
But
how we do it. We don't edit, we don't
no,
plan. I also don't
no,
want to know your thoughts until we've got microphones.
right. So I'm not entirely opposed to that. I mean, as I sit here, my immediate thought is people are going to be like, "Oh, it's a 20-minute episode about stop motion. What could possibly have been so bad?"
We just do
But
Medora and then in parentheses and
um,
a little stop motion.
yeah, I guess we could talk a little bit just about the surface stuff, about the like just the design of it and some of the elements that. But then I'm like, do we? What would be why don't we just save it all for a whole thing? Are we on the fly deciding that this episode is going to have to be delayed? Or this
I am
discussion is going to have to be
all
delayed?
I'm okay with being completely unconventional. We would just tell people, hey, here's our episode where we decided not to do an episode. Stay
Uh,
tuned for later this week. I do like that idea
here's
because
my
there's
plan.
so much stuff that you're going to catch the second
Yeah.
time that I kind of
In
don't want to
fact,
spoil.
here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be
Hmm.
even weirder, because
Ooh.
we could have just not released this episode that you're listening to right now, because
No,
what
we
I'm
definitely have to release
no
it.
what I'm going to do is I
Uh-huh.
am able to watch films pretty easily at my employment. Michelle, if I watch this again right away tomorrow, can you record again tomorrow night?
I think so. The wedding will be done by midnight, I think, which
Will
I am an
you
hour
be
behind you,
drunk?
so it'd be 1 a.m. Potentially, but it's so much better when I am. Um, I don't think I will be fall down drunk. A lot of these friends don't really drink, the ones
All
that I'll
right.
be hanging out with. So I think mildly at best because I don't want to put anybody through that.
This
I'm very
is
fun, but I'm very loud.
No, this is awesome. I think that's exactly what we
Yeah.
should do. In fact, I'm glad that I didn't mention it, because I love when organic things like this happen. Michelle says it's 4.5 skulls after seeing it twice. I
Yeah, the
say
first
I
time probably would have been
need to see it
3.5.
again. Yeah.
It was a significant difference the
Well, and you
second
see,
time.
here's where a lot of this is coming from is some of you may have listened to our podcast episode about Late Night with the Devil, but maybe not read my blog post about Late Night with the
Oh, you
Devil.
should
If
go
you've
read it.
only heard our podcast
Insane.
episode, you need to understand that that's the experience I had with that film. Is I saw it once and I jumped to too many conclusions, and I just pulled an opinion based on that one viewing. And then I saw it again, and I realized how wrong I was. And I don't want to do that again, and I have all this anxiety about it now. But yeah, we were coming into this, and I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to say, because I don't know for sure that here's what I know. In my guts, I feel like once I understand this, I'm going to love it. But
Probably.
we need to know for sure.
Yeah, no, I am totally fine doing a part two. If we can't do it tomorrow, then Sunday night, I will be back home
For
fairly
sure.
early and I could do it then.
All right.
So within the next
Well,
day or two, you guys will get another episode.
that
And that
was
is good because I can delve into it a little bit more too, because I've watched it twice and I caught a lot of stuff. And maybe I'll watch it a third time, like just as background noise and catch even more because there's so many layers to this.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I was, as soon as it was done, I was immediately like, "Fuck! I wish I had time to watch this through one more time."
Well, now
so
you do.
welcome to How We Do It on We Watch Shudder. If this is your first time tuning in, I promise you this has never happened before and will likely never happen again. We usually do a whole complete episode, but today you're just going to have to...
Sometimes.
These people are just going to have to wait.
Yeah, no, I think that is totally fine because I want to hear your opinions
Awesome.
and how they changed on a second viewing, and to see if you picked up some of the stuff I did, because there is some very, very subtle background things going on in here.
As you know, Michelle, like that's for me, that's honestly kind of like I don't mean to brag, but I have a tendency to notice some of those things a little bit more than other people do. Right? Like I saw a bunch of I didn't see nearly all of it, but I do remember seeing more things in my first viewing of Late Night with the Devil than most people saw. I feel like this is a movie where things are happening that it's almost not fair to discuss it on a single viewing. So, well, I don't know how many more different ways we can say that, but thanks for joining us for this very limited, spoiler-free. You know what the best part about this is? Maybe Jenna will watch the damned movie now before we actually talk about it.
Jenna's in Medora, so maybe before the wedding tomorrow, I will go track her down and be like, sit in this chair and watch this movie.
Oh, if you get her to do it, we should have her on the episode again.
I doubt she'll actually do it because she's kind of part of the wedding, but I will try. I know.
Jenna, get your priorities straight. We need you here. Weddings come and go.
Everybody.
Weddings come and go. Podcasting is forever.
I feel like that could be my motto too.
That's a T-shirt. Weddings come and go. Podcasting is like a front back situation. You probably sell about half a dozen of those. Yeah, most people die. They sure do. Oh well, I don't know how to end this episode when we haven't actually had an episode. So
I can say that I am going to go continue collecting my 250 new squelches.
Oh my God, you guys! So we, I believe we mentioned it on the recording last night as a joke. Maybe it was in the after discussion. I don't remember. But the more I sit here and think about it, the more I think it's hilarious, and I feel like we need to get Michelle as many squelching subtitles as we can, because I want to see if we can get the Guinness World Records organization to certify Michelle, not even We Watch Shudder, to certify Michelle Roller as having the largest collection of squelch subtitles in the world.
Yeah.
And then we could say,
if necessary, I will print them all off so that I have frames, a room full of squelches. I will do it. I will transform my office if that's what it takes.
We can introduce you as it's We Watch Shudder, co-hosted by JD Provorce and Guinness World Record holder Michelle Roller. You can put that on your resume for the rest of your life, Michelle.
Oh my God, I could explain it to every future employer that I have.
And here's the nice part about it is once it's established, there'll probably be other people who try to come up behind you and usurp your throne.
They're not going to.
You're already thousands of squelches ahead of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got an army of squelch collectors.
Right.
I need to come up with a name for them. Squelch collectors, like squelters? No. Squelectors. We'll come up with something. If you have a suggestion for squelch collector, Squelch Army, Squarmy. They're my Squarmy, trying to help me find my subtitles. I got some reliable people out there.
We're desperately trying to find things to talk about because we're not talking about the movie. Guys, join us again this weekend. It'll either be tomorrow night or the night after. We will get you that full discussion. None of us expected this to happen, but that's what happens when things happen. That's the best I got.
Another T-shirt.
That's say until next time, Michelle.
Until next time, Michelle.
For more horror content, visit WeWatchShudder.com, where you'll find our world-famous, patent-pending Ghoul blog and Squelch files, as well as a schedule of upcoming episodes. Find us on social media at We Watch Shudder on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I guess Twitter if you're still doing that for whatever reason. You can email us. mail@wewatchshudder.com is the address. mail@wewatchshudder.com. You can even call and leave us a voicemail, 701-566-9510. No, really. 701-566-9510. Give it a shot. See what happens. We Watch Shudder is a production of Rat Factory Media.